There you go. Frank, as you looked at the film from the times that you played without Anthony Davis over the break, just wondered what stood out the most on both ends to you?
Well, we tried a lot of different things. I think for the most part, I went down with COVID the same time Anthony did. And, in an effort to try to win games, Coach Fizz played a lot of small lineups, started Braun at center frequently and not always. And there were some real offensive benefits to that. We didn't win a lot, during that stretch. And, I think there's it's a balancing act, of trying to take advantage of some of that space, but also having enough defensive size, to win games. So, there's a little bit of everything in those games.
How much do you plan on using LeBron at center in those spots? And is that going to be game to game, or are you going to try to stick to something?
Well, ideally we get to stick to something. There will be an element of this stretch of the season that will be game to game. But hopefully we can settle in, to something that's working for us. And, him playing center will be, as always, or as the plan was with Anthony, to use it, as a balance, so we'll feel that out as the games go.
And have you gotten a sense from what that requires of LeBron defensively compared to since he's still doing what he typically does on offense, and how that's different from how he would play if AD's in there?
Yeah, it's tough to say. It's just a different responsibility more than harder or less hard. It's just a different responsibility, guarding the big and pick and roll coverage and whatnot, and as it is guarding the ball and doing some switching. So, he's able to do both. And to his credit, obviously, he picks that stuff up on the fly, and that's what makes him so great for us, is just that the versatility on both sides of the ball.
Frank, there's been so much discourse about your team and really big picture type questions about the state of the organization. But can it be helpful just to get the team back on the court to kind of try to? I mean, there's been so many days off and nobody's seen the team that it's kind of allowed these conversations to kind of be ongoing. Do you see basketball happening again as a benefit to the kind of the state of things?
Yes, but I think that for us internally, we're not paying as much attention to this stuff as you all are in the media, and we're all excited to just get back on the floor and make this push. We got 24 games to try to make a run, improve our place in the standings, and we haven't been really worried about all that stuff. Just just taking advantage of the time to get away and take a break and recharge, and excited to be back on the floor.
I think at the beginning of the season, one of the very early sessions, we talked about kind of establishing a normal starting five, establishing consistent rotations as much as possible, and you just kind of said it that, like, for most of the year, you guys have had to pretty much go game to game in how you've managed to try to play teams. How have you kind of fared through that? Has that been more emotionally draining than typically, correct if I'm wrong, but isn't usually kind of we focus on what we do and let that happen? But this year, I don't know if you even know what we do means.
It definitely pulls away. Your ideal scenario is, one guy goes down and you plug someone in, and that works, and you go forward, with that group. But we haven't found that kind of traction. So, and then we, consistently have had a key guy go down, and have had to adjust. So, we haven't been able to find that consistency. And when we had long stretches like we're about to endure with Anthony, we haven't found, an immediate winning formula. So we've had to continue to evaluate and adjust on a daily basis. And, that does, I don't want to say it's emotionally draining, but it does pull away from, the other stuff that goes into the job. If you spend, half your meeting or more than half of your meeting deciding who you're going to play, you're spending less time on how you're going to play. And, so that is just one of the challenges that we've endured, and had to just put in extra work, basically, to overcome this.
Do you think has that stunted the ability to kind of, you said normally over the course of the season, when you would know what you're doing, you would sort of naturally evolve, and you would be like, we're really good at this, so let's accentuate this stuff. Is that kind of what you're talking about in sort of the discussion?
Yeah, it's slowed the process, somewhat. But, like I said, if, something's not working and we have high expectations to win now, You got to adjust on the fly. You got to adjust quickly. You can't be slow to these changes. So, it's just been the nature of this type of season. We're not complaining about it. Every team in the league is, got some level of injuries and guys being out and having to adjust. And, we're excited about what we can do down the stretch here.
Hey, Frank, historically in his career, Russ has often had much stronger outings post All-Star. What do you think that's going to take for him this season? What's kind of your outlook on him being able to do it?
Yeah, I don't know, throughout his career, what this stretch run has looked like. I know the last few years he's had really good finishes to the regular season. And, that's our hope now. I think we saw it, the last couple of games going into the break with how he played with a really, really good spirit and good energy and played efficiently. And, we're hopeful that, we see that again tonight and for these final 24 games.
Frank, Carmelo hasn't played in more than 3 weeks. What do you expect from him tonight? And is he on a minutes limit?
Not on a minutes restriction, other than just be responsible. We won't. We'll try not to, to blow out his minutes too much and keep him in shorter runs than maybe we were using before he went down. But no restriction. Let's see.